CBS 46 News at noon starts now.
Right now, a warning about a dangerous new party drug. It's part of a surge in synthetics, and it's one of the deadliest drugs that agents have ever seen. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kim Passoff. Let's get straight out to our Rebecca Schramm. She is live with why this drug is so scary. Rebecca.
Hi, Kim. Well, I've learned that the drug was first developed in the 1980s as a pain medicine, but it was way too powerful to try on humans. Well, now manufacturers in China have gotten a hold of it, and it started to pop up here in the U.S., even in our neighboring state of Florida. It hasn't shown up here in Georgia, at least not yet.
When we see it in our surrounding states, it's just a matter of time.
DEA Special Agent in Charge Dan Salter tells CBS 46, even in microscopic doses, the new recreational drug W18 can kill you.
It's a synthetic opioid, and it's purported to be 100 times stronger than fentanyl.
And fentanyl, he says, is 20 to 50 times stronger than pure heroin. And here's the thing, you know the antidote for opioids, Narcan, that first responders like Deputy Rodney Perkle used a couple of weeks ago? He saved a Forsyth County man who had overdosed.
I delivered the first dose in one nostril, then the second dose in a second nostril, or in his other nostril, and within just 2 to 3 minutes, his breathing improved, his heart rate picked up. He started moving.
The antidote doesn't appear to work on W18. It's so strong. Agent Salter says what he's seeing in other states right now is frightening.
These abusers are mixing this W18 with fentanyl, with cocaine, with methamphetamine, with marijuana. It's really kind of a new phenomenon. I'm not sure why, but you would take something like a pain medicine and mix it with cocaine or meth. It doesn't make sense. When any one independently could kill you, but certainly when you mix them, you're playing Russian roulette.
And here's another problem. W18 is so new, it's not even illegal yet. Well, the DEA hopes it will be soon here in Georgia and everywhere else. Live in Atlanta, Rebecca Schramm, CBS 46 News.
Very interesting. Thank you, Rebecca. We're working to find out when a man accused of shooting at police with a rifle and putting a neighborhood on lockdown will face a judge. Police arrested 42-year-old David Cook of Monroe yesterday at his home after they say he fired off at least 50 shots in his Walton County subdivision. Family members called 911 saying that Cook was depressed and he wanted police to shoot and kill him.
When the deputies crested the hilltop right here, he opened fire on them. They approached him. I took him down, and he kept making the statements, "Why didn't you shoot me? Why didn't you shoot me?"
Even with all of those gunshots, no one was hurt. Police say that they have had no previous contact with Cook. Georgia's Police Oversight Agency revoked the police certification for a former Union City police officer, Luther Lewis. That's according to the Waiters family. Lewis shot and killed 19-year-old Ariston Waiters in 2011. The family was arrested yesterday. The family was there yesterday at a hearing. Now, Lewis did not disclose that he was involved in a deadly shooting when he applied for a police job in Savannah last summer. CBS 46 has reached out to the Oversight Agency for comment, and so far, we have not heard back. A family is still in shock after police shoot a loved one in the neck. Henry County Police were responding to a 911 call Wednesday morning, but they went to the wrong house. Now the family is challenging the officer's version of what happened. Ayanna Crystal is at Atlanta Medical Center with an update on the victim.
The man shot by police is in critical condition here at the Atlanta Medical Center. Now his family tells us he went outside after hearing noises in the middle of the night to check to see what was going on. That's when an officer shot him.
It makes me mad. You don't want me to say the word either.
Geraldine Huey is outraged after police shot her son-in-law in the neck in the middle of the night.
The dog started raising fits, and so he got up to see what they're barking at.
Huey says her son-in-law, William Powell, saw people outside his home a little after 1 a.m. Wednesday morning. So the 63-year-old grabbed his gun to see what was going on.
He didn't know they was out there in the yard.
Henry County Police were responding to a 911 call reporting someone yelling for help and gunshots. But Powell's house wasn't the right house.
Gave verbal commands for him to put the weapon down. He did not.
We checked with GBI spokesperson Scott Dutton to find out if the officers did identify themselves.
As I understand, they did. Of course, that's part of the investigation, the details as to what happened.
But family members are saying the officer's version of what happened is hard to believe.
If that police officer would have identified himself, he would have dropped his gun.
This shooting is still under investigation. As for Powell, he remains in critical condition and is fighting for his life. Now, the officer that shot Powell is on paid administrative leave. Reporting at the Atlanta Medical Center, Ayanna Crystal, CBS 46 News.
Right now, friends, family, and believers of the Islamic faith are holding a private memorial to remember Muhammad Ali. Today's service in Kentucky started about 5 minutes ago. The Islamic faith service began with a traditional Muslim prayer. It's being held at Freedom Hall, where the champion held his last hometown fight.
It really sends shivers down my spine knowing that we're behind setting up all of this because of one great man and what he did to impact this entire nation.
Tomorrow, a hearse will carry Ali's body through Louisville ahead of a public memorial service that's going to be held at the KFC Yum Center. Former President Bill Clinton will be among those who will speak. Back here at home, Muslims will honor the life of Ali, and Daniel Wilkerson picks up the story from outside a mosque in southeast Atlanta.
I am standing in front of one of many mosques where Muslims today will celebrate the life of Muhammad Ali. In fact, the humanitarian had deep roots here in Georgia.
He was a very sharp person.
Muslims across Georgia are taking time today to honor the life of Muhammad Ali. Prayer services are scheduled at mosques across the state. The boxing legend and humanitarian was among the most recognizable Muslims in the world.
Once you achieve with hard work a certain level, you should utilize that influence for positive purposes.
Born January 17, 1942 as Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr., he first heard of the Nation of Islam in the late 50s. He later changed his name to Muhammad Ali and converted to Islam.
He has come to our mosque a couple of times.
In fact, the humanitarian had deep roots here in Georgia. Members of the Ahmadiyya community knew him as a young man. Several scholars even tutored him. Nafis Erman here in Georgia had the pleasure of meeting the icon.
He was pretty young and pretty energetic.
And that energy, he says, inspired all Ali would meet.
He will not let anyone complete his or her question.
And while the legend, self-proclaimed the greatest, may be gone, the way he inspired both Muslims and non-Muslims lives on.
We will be looking for similar type of iconic and role model to portray the real image of Islamic teaching.
And this mosque off of Fayetteville Road will hold a service today at 6 p.m., whereas throughout the state, several mosques will hold services between 2:30 and 3, depending on which day of the week they meet. In Atlanta, Daniel Wilkerson, CBS 46 News.
This summer, crews will start work on a major resurfacing and maintenance project along the downtown connector. That project will cover a 6-mile stretch of the highway from just south of University Avenue to the Brookwood interchange. The project is scheduled to be completed next April. New at noon, 250 jobs will soon come to Atlanta. Today, Governor Nathan Deal announced that GE will open its first Global Digital Operations Center. The facility will employ engineers as well as service desk professionals. GE will spend $3 million on the facility. New at noon, the new bike share program starts today in Atlanta. It's called Cycle Hop. 10 stations have been installed around the city. It will allow 100 bikes to be used by those who'd like to get around on 2 wheels instead of 4. Prices start at $8 for one-day rentals, and there are also basic and plus monthly plans. If Cycle Hop takes off, officials hope to have more than 500 bikes out on the streets by the end of the year. Save the date. Music Midtown will be back on September 17th and 18th at Piedmont Park. That's a Saturday and Sunday. It's a slight change from previous years when it started on Friday. The lineup will soon be announced. We're planning on that happening later this month. Done deal. The Metro Atlanta City, where new moms can take maternity leave and not worry about missing a paycheck. And is it over for Bernie Sanders? The meeting set to happen today that could determine if the senator drops out of the race.
Oh, lazy and hazy. Summer days will hopefully give ground to some rain relief. I'm tracking when some showers could arrive in your neighborhood. Up next.
And we want to hear about the positive things happening in your community. Share it with us by going to CBS46.com. Click on Positively Georgia under the CBS 46 Cares tab. You can also send us a tweet or message us on Instagram or Facebook, and you could see your story right here on TV. A man faces homicide charges in Smyrna this afternoon after a deadly crash. 31-year-old David James Fuller was also charged with reckless driving and leaving the scene. He is currently being held on bond in the Cobb County Jail. Now take a look at this video from the accident last week from Chopper 46. You can see the cars there nearly split in half. Now police say that Fuller may have been going as fast as 100 miles per hour when his Dodge Challenger slammed into a driver at Windy Hill and Atlanta Road. The driver of the other car died in that crash. Officials say that Fuller also has outstanding warrants in Henry, Pike, and Meriwether counties. A new paid maternity leave policy goes into effect in Marietta today. New mothers who work for the city can take a full month off with pay. Now, the council unanimously approved that plan last night. For right now, the plan only applies to mothers. That's something author and parental leave advocate Josh Leves wants to change.
We need a national paid family leave system so that this doesn't have to be a patchwork of individual cities and individual businesses figuring out what to do.
We checked, and there are more than 160 women on the city's payroll, including a soon-to-be mom who goes on maternity leave next month. Good timing for her there. Now to campaign 2016, Bernie Sanders flew to Washington, D.C. today to meet with Democratic leaders to talk about the presidential election and how he is now fitting in. Weijia Jiang is at the White House where Sanders met with President Obama.
Bernie Sanders arrived in Washington for a meeting with President Obama at the White House. The two are expected to talk about how to move forward on the issues Sanders has fought for throughout his campaign. President Obama praised Sanders during an appearance on Jimmy Fallon's show Wednesday night.
I thought that Bernie Sanders brought enormous energy and new ideas, and he pushed the party and challenge them.
But President Obama has also told Sanders he will endorse Clinton soon, and he's likely pushing the Vermont senator to help Clinton unite the party in order to take on Donald Trump in the general election. Clinton told Scott Pelley one of her immediate goals is to expand her base of support.
By reaching out to Senator Sanders supporters, to many others across our country, including, I hope, Republicans and independents.
Nearly 1 in 5 Sanders supporters say they will either vote for Trump or won't vote at all.
Hello.
Trump has meetings with big money donors to talk about a fundraising plan for the election. Through the end of April, Clinton has outraised Trump by more than $150 million. But Trump says he doesn't need to raise as much money because he gets so much free TV time in the media. Weijia Jiang, CBS News, the White House.
Sanders is still campaigning for now. He has a rally planned for tonight in Washington, D.C. Democrats there go to the polls on Tuesday and are the last to vote in the nominating process. The state of Alabama is permanently banned from enforcing laws blocking gay marriage. A U.S. district judge just made that ruling earlier this week. According to the judge, the order is needed because state laws against same-sex marriage still exist there. In a consumer alert, Frito-Lay is recalling some of its pretzel snacks. The company says several of its rolled gold pretzel varieties could contain peanuts that are not listed on the packaging. The packages were sold in stores and vending machines. You can return them for a full refund. Getting a traffic ticket in DeKalb County will now cost you more. A $25 fee has been added on to your fine. The fee was eliminated last year when traffic cases were moved from the recorder's court to state court. The state court didn't have the authority to collect that fee. That was until state lawmakers approved it during last year's session. The $25 fee is expected to generate $3 million in revenue for DeKalb County. Just 2 weeks ago, we learned the Super Bowl is coming to Atlanta. And this morning, Sports Council President Dan Caroso spoke with the Buckhead Business Association about the Atlanta Sports Council's role in bringing the Super Bowl here in 2019. He said the plan has started already, and he's already had discussions with the NFL.
It's a great place to live in general, but then when you add all the sports and entertainment value that our community has for our citizens and residents, it's a fantastic time. I mean, so many great major events, lined up over the next few years in our downtown community and Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's a great place to be right now.
And Atlanta will be the center of attention for the sports world for years to come. starting in 2018 with the National College Playoff Championship, then the Super Bowl in 2019, and the men's Final Four in 2020. They will all take place at the new Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Former Atlanta Hawks general manager Danny Ferry is back in the NBA. The New Orleans Pelicans have named him a special advisor to the team. Ferry left the Hawks in 2014 after some racially insensitive remarks that he made during a team conference call. He officially resigned last summer.
Certified Atlanta's most accurate forecast for the second year in a row. Now, CBS 46 meteorologist Jim Losnicka.
Jim, hot outside and only getting hotter.
Yeah, and more humid too, so that's going to be kind of something else in the mix as we head towards the weekend and beyond. So if you like the heat, you're in luck for that. If you don't like the humidity, though, you may want to plan some inside fun next few days. Now, today is another dry, sun-filled day across our skies of Atlanta. Beautiful shot there of One Atlantic Center in Midtown Atlanta. Temperatures now warming up. Again, average highs this time of the year, usually in the middle 80s, so we're knocking on the door now for those normal average highs, if you will, at 80 in Atlanta, 81 in Rome, still in the 70s in that northern and northeastern quadrant of our state here at the midday hour. So next hour to two, we'll kind of climb the temperature back up into the middle to upper 80s by 3 o'clock, and a little wispy high cloud cover here or there, but no rain showers today, and I'm not expecting much in the way of rain until maybe the middle of next week. So dry and warm, the name of the game. That dry north breeze right now is going to give ground as our next weather maker kind of noses in from the west. This big ridge of high pressure in the Midwest has a hot origin zone, so that's going to kind of climb over us over the weekend, and that's a hot and stagnant pattern for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and now even Monday. Let's look ahead to the weekend. In Rome, I've got weekend temperatures in the middle to upper 90s, below record highs, but still pretty darn hot here for the early part of June. Atlanta, no change. I'm talking middle 90s, just shy of a few records here in the city of Atlanta. Jonesboro this weekend, same thing, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, right around that 95-degree mark. And Athens through next week, you're going to be in the warmest spot, but you'll be below record highs. I checked the records in Athens this weekend. We're talking 100 to 103 for record temperature, so not that hot, but yes, again, hot by June standards. So keep in mind, with that heat coming back, what you want to do if you're outside is have that high SPF on. That keeps the sunburn limited and keeps your body temperature down. That's the most important thing because that prevents heat stroke. That wide brim hat and those light colored shirts also will keep the sun off your body. That's always a great thing to kind of beat the heat this time of the year. As I mentioned, we could use some rain to beat the heat, but again, we're dry today. Watch the showers here in the Gulf. They're kind of working back up on shore in the Gulf of Mexico, but they're fading fast because they're entering this big dry air region. That dry air evaporates the rain as it invades the south. So for now, the rain stays trapped in the Gulf and not coming our way whatsoever. In fact, the rain chances for tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, the big donut. So you got to keep running the sprinklers and hope for the rain. I think the best chance of rain starts about Wednesday and Thursday of next week. So we're in a long, dry, hot streak here in Atlanta. Today, a warm one. Middle to upper 80s, although a few pop-up areas may see 90 like in Carrollton and LaGrange and maybe even near Rome. Tonight won't be as cool as it was this morning. I see upper 50s in LJ, but mid-60s in Atlanta, low 60s around in the suburbs here from Gainesville, Carrollton, and Covington overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. And there's that hot pattern in the 90s. Tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, count them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row after today of 90-degree heat. And typically, we only see, 30-something days in a whole year of 90-degree days. So we'll probably about, by this time next week, about 1/3 of the way through that average number. So yeah, it's hot and it's hazy. So the lake and the pool, the place to be, or find the free AC like a library, the mall. You know the drill. Just find ways to escape that summer heat in Atlanta here in the south.
Long, hot summer.
Here we go.
All right, thank you, Jim. Well, the race for the White House is on with two very unfavorable candidates, according to our Just a Minute contributor. How he thinks America ended up in this position, next.
Opinions expressed during Just a Minute are not necessarily those of CBS 46 News or its employees.
With the candidates in the presidential election becoming more certain every day, commentator Tom Houck takes a look at the upcoming election and what he sees baffles him. Tom takes just a minute to ponder the oddity of America ending up with two very polarizing candidates.
In poll after poll, the likely 2016 candidates Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump
have more people who look at them as unfavorable than favorable. I can't remember in my lifetime when a majority of voters don't like either candidate. Well, not really. Trump is disliked for being anti-woman, anti-Mexican, anti-Muslim, and sounding very much like someone who would make the world less safe. Hillary has been battered for almost 4 decades by the right wing for being a strong leader who they fear. They know she would keep Obamacare, strongly support a woman's right to choose, appoint progressive judges, and yes, keep minorities and immigrants safe from those who want deportation and watering down voting rights. But they have indeed made Hillary look like a beast who is a mean-spirited liar. I said earlier this year I thought Clinton would be elected our first female president. I stand by it. Despite the unfavorables compared to Trump, she is a living saint. I'm Tom Houck.
Tom is the founder and director of Civil Rights Tour Atlanta. Visit civilrightstour.com to schedule a tour.
Stay with us. The news at noon continues next.
It's rule number 1 in the South because deep fried anything is good, but this snack food may just top all of them.
I will agree with that. Coming to a Walmart freezer near you, deep fried Twinkies.
Let's go.
All right. Walmart and Hostess have teamed up to make the snack a reality. They'll only be available for 1 year. The snack will come frozen, so you'll have to use your oven to cook it. No word on will they'll hit Walmart's freezer aisle, but we're told it will be pretty soon.
They'll probably be all over my Twitter feed with people taking pictures of the freezer aisle when they do show up.
I wonder how that'll work once it's deep fried and then you put it in the freezer. Well, we'll figure it all out.